Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ar-Rahman. Allamal Quran. Khalaqal insana. Allamahul bayan. Ash-shamsu wal qamaru bihusban. والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والهب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجن من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Jazakallah, Brother Muhammad Abbas. Inshallah, we will continue with Brother Salman.
मुजरई खल्क़ में इन आँखों ने क्या क्या देखा मुजरई खल्क़ में इन आँखों ने क्या क्या देखा पर कहीं सिबते पैगंबर सना खा देखा मुजरई खल्क़ में मैंने देखा लमे शाह को आलूदे खून मैंने देखा लमे शाह को आलूदे खून मैंने नेज़े पे सर दिलबर ज़हरा देखा मुजरई खल्क़ में मैंने देखा असग़र का गला खून में तर मैंने देखा असग़र का गला खून में तर को रेती पे तड़पता देखा। मुजरई खल्क में एक गठड़ी शहदी पुश्त पे लाए उसमें एक गठड़ी शहदी पुश्त पे लाए उसमें मैंने टुकड़े हुए कासिम का सरापा देखा। मुजरई खल्क में हाय क्यों हो न गई कोर के इन आँखों ने हाय क्यों हो न गई कोर के इन आँखों ने कैद खाने में सकीना का जनाजा देखा। मुजरई खल्क ने जाके ज़ैनब मदीने में कहा सुग़रा से जाके ज़ैनब मदीने में कहा सुग़रा से कहूँ किस मुँह से के मैं परदेस में क्या क्या देखा। मुजरई खल्क में इन आँखों ने क्या क्या देखा। पर कहीं सिबते पयों बरसना खा देखा। मुजरई खल्क में और मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु।
Jazakallah, Brother Salman. Inshallah, we will continue with Brother Hadi.
एक ज़ाकिर शाम पहुँचा दिल में लेकर ये ख़याल, देख कर बाज़ार और दरबार पूछूं ये सवाल। सरबार हैना जब थी ज़ैनब बेकफन ज़हरा कलाल, सर पे सूरज चल रहा था, जिस घड़ी चूंटी की चाल। फासला बाजार से दर बार तक तय जब किया, वक्त इस मुश्किल सफ़र में कितना बीबी को लगा। मरकदे ज़ैनब पे पहुँचा और मुजाविर से कहा, ऐ मुजाविर मरकदे ज़ैनब के मुझको ये बता, तय सफ़र बाजार से दर बार तक मैंने किया, वक्त मुझको इस सफ़र में चंद साथ का लगा। इस ज़रा से फासले को ख्वाहरे शबीर ने कितने साथ में किया तय, ज़ैनब दिलगीर ने रो दिया। रो दिया सुनकर मुजाविर ये सवाल और ये कहा, ज़ाकिरे शबीर है सुनने का तुझ में हौसला, तूने तय ये फासला जो चंद साथ में किया, ये सफ़र ज़ैनब का सदियों के बराबर हो गया। रे 30 घंटों में यहाँ तक पहुँची बिन्ते फ़ातिमा, गिरद थे लाखों तमाशाई, हज़ारों अशकिया। और मेरी बहनों ये घड़ी है किस कदर एहसास की, थी बहन अब्बास की नज़र अवामुन्नास की, बेरदाई बेकसी और इस पे शिद्दत प्यास की, कहती थी मिल जाए चादर परचमे अब्बास की। साते शाम-ए-ग़रीबा याद वो अब्बास की, जब न था कोई भी वारिस माँ सिवाए बेकसी, गमज़दा के हाथ में एक चोबे खैमा गई, बन गई ज़ैनब अली, अब्बास भी शबीर भी। सहमे बच्चों के लिए बिनते अली थी पहरादार, सबको देती थी तसल्ली, खुद मगर थी अश्क बार। नागहां देखा चला ताहे जैसे एक सवार, था मिली बागे फरज बीबी ने होके बेकरार। बोली अब क्या लूटने आया है, सब कुछ लुट गया, लुट गया असबाब सारा, भाई मेरा मर गया। लौट जा देती हूँ तुझको मुस्तफ़ा का वास्ता, मैं नबी ज़ादी हूँ, मैं ज़ैनब हूँ बिन्ते सैयदा। रे मुस्तफ़ा का नाम सुनकर हो गया वो बेकरार, डाल कर बाहें गले में रो के बोला अश्क बार, मैं तेरा बाबा अली मुश्किल कुशा हूँ गम गुजार, अब तू खैमे में चली जा मैं बनूंगा पहरादार। बाप को देखा तो गम से और सीना फट गया, दजलाए आंसू जो था आखिर को बेकाबू हुआ, बोली ज़ैनब मुर्तज़ा से करके ये आओ बुका, कट गया कट गया कट गया कुनबा मेरा, पापा छिनी मेरी रिदा। अकबरो असगर सिधारे कासिमो अब्बास भी चल गई हलकूम पे, शब्बीर के बाबा छुरी, मैं दरे खैमा पे बाबा हाथ मलती रह गई, सो गया सो गया सो गया दरिया किनारे, जाके अब्बास से जरी।
इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन। रिदन बिक़दाइहि व तस्लीमन लिअम्रिहि। इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन। रिदन बिक़दाइहि व तस्लीमन लिअम्रिहि। इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन। रिदन बिक़दाइहि व तस्लीमन लिअम्रिहि। अस्सलामु अलैका या अबा अब्दिल्लाह। अस्सलामु अलैका या इब्ना रसूलिल्लाह। अस्सलामु अलैका या इब्ना अमीरिल मुअमिनीन। अस्सलामु अलैका या इब्ना फ़ातिमतज़ ज़हरा। अस्सलामु अलैका व अलल अरवाह अल्लती हल्लत बिफ़नाइक। अलैकुम मिन्नी जमीअन सलामुल्लाहि अबदन मा बक़ीतु व बक़ियल लैल वन नहार। या अबा अब्दिल्लाह लक़द अज़ुमतिर रज़िया व जल्लत व अज़ुमतिल मुसीबतु बिका अलैना व अला जमीइ अहलिल इस्लाम। व जल्लत व अज़ुमत मुसीबतु बिका फ़िस समावाति अला जमीइ अहलिस समावात। السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بالحسين عليه السلام. The reciters of Azhar, they narrate that it was the 7th of Muharram when you could begin to hear cries of Al-Atash, Al-Atash echoing through the desert of Karbala. And this was because Umar ibn Sa'ad, he cut off water from the tent and the camp of Imam Hussain on the 7th. On the 8th, they say that these calls of Al-Atash, that we are thirsty, that we are dying of thirst, they begin to grow louder in the desert of Karbala. The 9th of Muharram, it is said that the cries grow so loud that even the enemy can hear the cries and the weeping and the desiring of water in the camp of Imam Hussain. But it is said that on the 10th, these reciters of Azhar, they tell us that there was no longer cries of Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Instead, these cries were replaced with louder wails and louder screams and louder cries of Wa Husayna, Wa Husayna. Tonight is a night known as Laylatul Ghuraba, Sham-e-Ghariban. It is a night where the women and the children in the family of the Holy Prophet among the camp of Imam Hussain, they are estranged, they are alone. It is said that there was a pious man, and the ulama, they narrate the story about this pious man who used to recite the musibah of Imam Hussain on the day of Ashura. The pious man, he sees a dream, and in this dream he sees the Imam of our time, Imam Sahibul Asri wal Zaman. And in this dream he asks the Imam of all of the masa'ib that took place in the month of Muharram, which of the masa'ib was most difficult for your great grandfather to bear? Was it the musibah of Qasim? And the Imam replies that it was very difficult for my grandfather to see the body of Qasim being trampled under the horses, but that was not the most difficult of the masa'ib for my grandfather. The man asked, then was it the musibah of Ali Akbar? The Imam says that it was very difficult for him to see his son being fallen from a horse and having a blade stuck in his chest, but nonetheless there was a greater musibah. Was it the musibah of Abbas? Was it the musibah of Ali Asghar? He begins to list out the different masa'ib that took place on the days and in the nights while they were in Karbala. The Imam says that all of these were very difficult for my great grandfather, but there was one musibah that was worse and more difficult to anticipate for Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and that was the musibah that was to befall Lady Zainab. The musibah that is to befall Lady Zainab is that which gives her the title Ummul Masa'ib. She is the mother of affliction. She is the one who is the mother of all of those who are afflicted. It is said that Dhul Jana, he returns from the Maidan, and little lady Sakina, she notices that the horse has returned without its rider. She is young, but she is very intelligent, and so she goes to the horse and she begins to cry, and she says, Dhul Jana, when my father was killed, was he killed while he was thirsty, or did they give him some water first? Umar ibn Sa'ad, despite all of his crimes in Karbala, is not yet complete. There is more work to be done in the eyes of Umar ibn Sa'ad. His first order is that he orders the head of Imam Hussain to be raised on a spear. The head of the Imam is raised aloft on a spear, and the noor coming from the face of the Imam, it is as if it is lighting a beacon in Karbala. It is as if the darkness of the night is being pierced by the brilliant light of Imam Hussain. But what this means is that now the body of Imam Hussain lies headless on the sands of Karbala. And so Umar ibn Sa'ad, he is not yet done in Karbala. He orders that the body of Imam Hussain be looted. History tells us that the Yazidis came to the body of Imam Hussain alayhi salam like locusts. Some took the imama of Imam Hussain, some took the sandal of Imam Hussain. There was one who took the belt of the Imam. Know that it was Imam Hussain who prepared for this moment. He had prepared by putting on clothing that he ripped holes into the clothing. He tore it into pieces so that perhaps the enemy would not be interested in removing these artifacts, these blessed artifacts that have touched his blessed body. But nonetheless, they are not capable of any mercy or any kindness whatsoever. Alas, these cursed people are unwilling to do anything and everything to Imam Hussain. History records there is one narrator who says that I was watching as one individual, he looks at the ring on the finger of Imam Hussain and he begins to pull the ring, but it does not come off. And so I watched him as he took out a blade from his pocket and he began to cut the finger of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. It is said that Sayyida Zainab now hears the marching of horses. She wonders, why is it that the horses of Yazid are being mustered? She does not know that Umar ibn Sa'ad has more to be done. He orders that the body of Imam Hussain now be trampled by the horses. Umar ibn Sa'ad, he calls for 10 volunteers. I need 10 volunteers to come and trample the body of Hussain to show that we are victorious in Karbala. The horsemen, they line up. They begin to ride from one side of the desert to the other. They go from left to right. They go from one side to the other side. It is said by one Man'oon, one cursed soldier, he narrates that I stamped upon the body of Hussain with my horse such that I swear by God I heard the cracking of his ribs. I heard the breaking of his chest. It is said in the books of Maqatil that the ribs of the Imam now break until they touch his back. But this is not enough for Umar ibn Sa'ad. He now calls for the looting of the camp of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. The women and the children now gather near Sayyida Zainab. They watch as they are being rushed at by soldiers who charge towards them. It is said that they take anything and everything that they find. They even take the cot and the mattress that Imam Sajjad is sleeping upon. Once they have taken anything, they have taken everything. Now they begin to look at the clothing and the hijabs and the veils of the women. They use their sticks, they use their lances to rip off the scarves and the hijabs from the ladies of the women folk of the household of Rasulullah. The haram of Rasulullah is now being desecrated. The women begin to run inside the tents to protect themselves from the eyes of these accursed soldiers. The soldiers, they ask Umar ibn Sa'ad, what should we do? The women are hiding in the tents without their veils over their heads. And so Umar ibn Sa'ad, he says that now my order is that the tent should be burnt down. Let the women folk come out of their tents once the fires have burnt their clothing, once the fires have destroyed the camp of Hussain. And so the women, they rush from one tent to the another. It is said that the soldiers, they light one tent on fire. The women leave the tent and rush out screaming and crying, going to a different tent. They go from tent to tent until they reach the tent of Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam. Sayyidah Zainab, she calls out, "Oh Ali, you are the Imam after us. Wake up, oh Ali." She rouses the Imam from his sickness. She says that, "Now please tell us, what is it that we should do? Should we give our lives here? Should we die here as shuhada? Or should we go out and save our lives without the hijab over our heads?" The Imam can barely speak. He is still so very sick. But he says to his aunt Zainab, "We must go out. We must save our lives." Hamid ibn Muslim, one of the narrators of the Maqatil of Karbala, he says that I saw that there was a woman going in and out of a burning tent. This woman was coming in and out. It was as if she would go inside trying to take something very precious to herself, but she could not bear the heat of the flames, so she would run out. She would compose herself and run back in, until a time came when this woman had a young man on her back that she pulled out with all of her strength. Lady Zainab has saved Imam Sajjad and allowed Imamat to continue another day. Umar ibn Sa'ad is not done in Karbala. It is said that he orders now that the children should now be taken as captives. There is a narration about the life of Imam Sajjad. Many years after Karbala, it is said that he was holding a sibha in his hand. He was holding a rosary of beads that he would do dhikr with, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The dhikr beads fell from his hand and the beads scattered in different directions. It is said that Imam Sajjad began to cry. One of the companions of Imam, he says, "Oh hi Imam, why is it that you cry? It is only a sibha, it is only a set of prayer beads. I can make you another one if you so wish." The Imam says that, "Do you not know that the way that these beads have scattered in different directions was the same way that the children scattered off into the darkness of Karbala after the night of Ashura? And so now the children are running in different directions." It is said that Sakina, she runs away, trying to get away from Shimr ibn Ziljoshan, but Shimr grabs the young child into his hands. He slaps the young girl. The Sakina, the daughter of Imam Hussain, is now weeping in tears. But this does not bring any mercy into the heart of Shimr. He notices that there are earrings upon her ears. "Shimr, if you, even the mal'oon, cursed individual such as yourself," the reciters of Azhar say that if you were to ask this young girl, she would have given these earrings to you on her own. She is the one raised in the household of the most generous ones. Sakina now runs into the desert. She is ears. It is said that I saw into the darkness of the desert. Her dress was on fire. I wished to help her, and so I went to her. Sakina calls out to the old man. She says, "Get away from me, old man. We are the household of the Prophet. We do not deal with anyone's humiliation. Do not touch us. Do not come near us." The man says, "Oh little girl, I'm only trying to help you. Let me put out the fire from your clothes. Let me tend to the wound that you have on your ears. Tell me, what is it that I can do for you?" Lady Sakina has not witnessed this type of generosity from someone outside of her family in so long. And so Sakina looks at the man and says, "Oh man, I only wish one thing from you. If you could show me the direction towards Kufa, if you could show me the direction towards Najaf." The man says, "Little girl, Najaf is very far from here. It is long distance to get to Najaf. What business do you have in that place?" Lady Sakina says that, "Do you not know that my grandfather Ali is buried there? I want to go tell my grandfather what they have done to my father Hussain." Zainab and Kulthum gather the women outside of the camp of Hussain. Imagine the scene as if they watch the tents of Imam Hussain lit ablaze. The entire camp of the Imam is on fire. Everyone comes close together. They weep with one another. They hold each other. They begin to do the hisab and the accounting of all of the children. Suddenly, Lady Zainab remembers, and she notices that the amana of Imam Hussain is missing. She calls out, Aina anti ya Sakina? Where are you, O Sakina? She goes out to the Furat. She calls out. She says, Oh Abbas, has Sakina come to you? There is no answer in Karbala. She looks everywhere, but she sees that there is no child near the Furat. There is no child near the river. Suddenly, Lady Zainab, she remembers, where is the body of my brother Hussain? She goes to the Maidan. She goes into the battlefield and she sees that there is one body lying headless on the sands of Karbala. And there is a young daughter lying at the feet of this body. Lady Zainab crouches next to Lady Sakina. She says, Sakina, what are you doing? Why have you come to the battlefield? Lady Sakina, the little daughter of Imam Hussain, she says that I have decided to come to my father. Zainab says, how do you know that this is your father? There are no clothes on this body. There is no head on this body. This body has been crushed. This body has been mutilated. Lady Sakina, the young daughter of Imam Hussain, says that I could smell the fragrance of my father. Lady Zainab, she says, then why have you slept at the feet of your father? Lady Sakina, she says that I could not sleep upon the chest of my father because they have broken the chest of Imam Hussain with the hooves of horses. Brothers and sisters, how did the daughter of Imam Hussain find the body of her father? Perhaps she heard that there was a voice calling to her, a voice calling from the body of the headless body of Imam Hussain, calling, Ilayya, Ilayya, Ya Bunayya, come to me, my daughter Sakina, sleep next to me once more. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that by the right of this night and all of these nights that we have spent in grief and in mourning and in sorrow, in the remembrance of the tragedy of Imam Hussain and all of those shuhada and all of those family and friends and loved ones of the Imam, that by the right of these nights that we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time, that He answer our call, He answer our prayers, and He meet all of the needs that we have. Brothers and sisters, we should remember that although these nights are sorrowful nights and they are nights of sadness for us, nonetheless we can turn back to those whom we love. We can be in the comfort and in the security of our homes and with those friends and family who are with us today. But when Lady Zainab arrives in Karbala, she has Ali Akbar, she has Qasim, she has Muhammad, Abbas, she has Hussain, she has Aun, she has her children, she has all of these loved ones by her side, which are to give her comfort and solace. But on the night of Sham-e-Ghariban, she is leaving Karbala without any loved ones. She is alone, she is gharib. The women folk and the children have been deprived of these loved ones and these relationships in their lives. And so may we, through inspiration from these nights, may we learn and appreciate and value the sacred relationships in our own lives, the relationships that we have to Allah and the awliya and the anbiya and our fellow believers, our believing parents, our children, our family, our siblings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep all of them safe and secure and increase them in iman and in faith and in wilaya. وَالْآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ وصلى الله على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
मोअज़्ज़िज़ सामीन, आज शाम-ए-ग़रीबा की रात क़यामत की रात है, जहाँ पे इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम का भरा घर करबला में लुट गया। मैं गुजारिश करूँगा जनाब असद जहाँ से कि वो मौला की बारगाह में आके सलाम आखिर पेश करें और मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद बुलंद तरीन सलावत अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद।
भैया तुम्हें घर जा के कहाँ आएंगे घबराएंगे कैसा ये भरा घर हुआ बर्बाद राही क्या अब इसको ना आबाद कभी पाएंगी घबराएंगी फट जाएगा बस देखते ही घर को कलेजा याद आओगे भैया दिल ढूंढेगा तुमको तो कहाँ पाएगी घबराएगी पूछेंगे जो सब लोग के बाजू पहुआ क्या ये नील है कैसा किस किसको निशान रस्सी के दिखलाएंगी घबराएंगी बेपर्दा हुई कैद भी काहर ने उठाई और मौत न आई। क्या जानिए क्या क्या भी दुख पाएगी घबराएगी घुर जा के किसे देखेगी कासिम ना पास अकबर से भी है आस अपने अली असगर को कहाँ पाएंगे घबराएंगे भैया तुम्हें घर जाके कहाँ पाएंगे घबराएंगे सलाम खाक नशीनों पे सोगवारों का गरीब देते हैं पुरसा तुम्हारे प्यारों का सलाम जिन्हें शर्म खाए जाती है खुले सरों पसीरी की खाक आती है सलाम उस पर जो ज़हमत कश सलास है मुसीबतों में इमामत की पहली मंजिल है सलाम भेजते हैं अपनी शाहज़ादी पर कि जिनको सौंप गए मरते वक्त घर सरवर मुसाफिरत ने जिसे बेबसी दिखलाई निसार कर दिए बच्चे न बच सका भाई असीर हो के जिसे शामियों के नरगे में हुसैनियत सिखाना अली के लहजे में, सकीना बीबी तुम्हारे गुलाम हाजिर हैं, बुझे जो प्यास तो इश्कों के जाम हाजिर हैं, ये हश्र ये सदमे नए नए बीबी, कहाँ पर बैठी हो ख़ैमे तो जल गए बीबी, पहाड़ रात बड़ी अंदर है सवेरे में, कहाँ हो शाम-ए-ग़रीबां के घुप अंधेरे में, ज़मीन गर्म यतीमी की सख्तियाँ बीबी, वो सीना जिस पाके सोती थी अब कहाँ बीबी, जनाब मादर बेशीर को भी सबका सलाम, अजीब वक्त है क्या दें तसल्लियों का पयाम, अभी कलेजे में एक आग सी लगी होगी, अभी तो गोद की गर्मी न कम हुई होगी, नहीं अंधेरे में कुछ सूझता कहाँ ढूंढे, तुम्हारा चाँद कहाँ छुप गया कहाँ ढूंढे, नहीं लाइनों में इंसान कोई खुदा हाफिज़, दरिंदे और ये बेवारसी खुदा हाफिज़, सलाम मोहसिन इस्लाम खस्ता तन लाशो, सलाम तुम पर शहीदों के बेकफन लाशो, सलाम तुम पर रसूलो बतूल के प्यारो, सलाम मेरे इमामत के गिर्द सैयारो, बच्चे तो अगले हम हैं और ये गम फिर है जो चल बसे तो ये अपना सलाम आखिर
या हुसैन 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 करबला 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 मैं हो गई बेरदावा हुसैना मेरा कोई ना रहा वाह हुसैना अब किसको दूं मैं सदा करबला 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 करबो बला के बन में अकबर ने बरछी खाई सुगरा वतन में रो रो देती रही दुहाई ओ मेरा भैया ना रहा वाह हुसैना मेरा कोई ना रहा वाह हुसैना अब किसको दूं मैं सदा करबला 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 सहरा में कितने लाशें देखे तेरी बहन ने मजबूर कर दिया है मुझको तेरे कफन ने ओ मैं हो गई बेरदावा हुसैना मेरा कोई ना रहा वाह हुसैना अब किसको दूं मैं सदा करबला 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 या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन अकबर मैं मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा अकबर मैं मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा अकबर मैं मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा वीर ना मैनू ख्वाब डराउंदे ने भैन दे दर्द मुका जा अकबर मैं मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा अकबर मैं मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा ए हो रस्ते ए हो बूहे ए हो मिटियां अकबर ए हो तांगा ए हो आसां ए हो चिट्ठियां अकबर वेख ले असी भैन भिरा साडे साडा दर्द भी साझा अकबर मैं मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा अकबर मैं मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा कोई होंदा मेरा अपना मेरे अथरू वंडदा आके सिर ते मेरे कोई कदे साया करदा खाक तो मैनू तख्त ते आजा अकबर में मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा अकबर में मर जावांगी वतना ते वीर आजा या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन 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 या हुसैन वो आबिदे बीमार था वो आबिदे बीमार था चलने से जो लाचार था और शाम का बाजार था और शाम का बाजार था और मुस्तफा की बेटियां मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद
السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء يا سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي المجتبى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليك يا قمر بني هاشم يا أبو الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا أم المصائب يا زينب بنت أمير المؤمنين السلام عليكم يا شهداء كربلاء جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء يا علي بن موسى رضا راضي بالقدر والقضاء السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان يا سيدي أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وزهورك السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته